Good evening, fam, or good morning. I don't know if you're listening to this on the way to work in the morning and you're angry because you're going to work in the morning, but it's Kung Fu Friday, everybody. It's your boy Alex. This is Hidden Shadows of the Secret Chamber. If you haven't noticed, nobody else is recording with me. That's right, I'm in my kitchen, hunching over a microphone, looking like a crazy person. For your listening pleasure. So let me start off by saying our usual two hosts, Nakonsy and Khan, couldn't be here today, but they wanted me to let you guys know that the reason why they couldn't be here was very important. So they each gave me a reason one by one. So I wanted to cover Khan's reason first. So in his words, he said, so there was this hobo attack, as in the hobo attacked the kids over at the park the Trongs frequent at. And it looked like Khan was actually the hobo. And it wasn't an attack, it was a bear hug. So he was in that whole situation and had to handle that. And Nakonsy had to work. So, yeah, priorities. I understand he had to adult, but your boy Alex wanted to make sure that he didn't leave you guys hanging this Friday, so I came and took it upon myself. I carried the team and brought you guys an awesome movie to watch anyway. So let's as you all know, we are Hidden Shadows of the Secret Chamber, a movie review podcast with all your light and heavy nerd needs. Not only that, we bring you weekly recommendations to satisfy your streaming, your reading, your gaming, and binging needs. My name is Alex, and this week I got some good stuff. I got some goodies for you. So first, let me give you guys your weekly recommendations. You guys can always find these bad boys on Instagram, and I always throw up some pictures for y'all so that you guys can go and immediately check them out, and then shoot me some DMs and let me know what you guys thought, because you guys always do. You always have great things to say. Yeah, about like, Alex, your taste is shit. So that makes me feel good. But this week, I went ahead and embraced my inner weeb and brought a anime that's not super new, and it's if Funimation is bringing it out and they got the dub, your boy is watching an older anime. So the name of this anime is The Blood Blockade. And in this one, let me see here. In The Blood Blockade, we follow the story of a boy named Leonardo Watch. Apparently, he's a reporter, and he moves to this city called Hell Salem's Lot, a city created by the intersection of worlds where New York City once stood. And I said stood weird. And through a series of lucky coincidences, is recruited into a secret society named Libra. So this homie is living in a city where it looks like interdimensional, basically dimensions collided in what is New York City, and there's just a bunch of weird shit going on. We're talking like half human, half animal, crazy just magic going on, and you just kind of have to accept it. And it's kind of in an era where the humans just accepted what was going on. So you get to follow his story. Let me just tell you that it's an amazing dub. I've been watching dubs lately. I've been trying to give these guys a chance, and my favorite voice character on this one is the villain. The villain is absolutely kooky and maniacal all at once, and I fucking love it. So He's hilarious. It's great to watch. And from episode 1, the stories got me straight up captivated, fam. So the funny thing about this show is that it's somewhat vintage. So you got like old school anime style giant print slammed into your face every time a character announces his special move, but I can't complain. This is why we got into anime, folks, because of that bullshit. So I know you guys are going to love it. The action is awesome. Honestly, I only watched episode 1, guys. Yeah, I didn't do much homework. So, but I think you guys are going to love it. So there's that. And since I don't have Nakonsy or Khan to fire off 1,000 recommendation. Yeah, that's right, boys. I'm calling you out. You guys always outdo me. I come with 1 and you guys come with 74. I'm going to bring a second recommendation. So this one is a music recommendation. It is Odessa's new album. It's named A Moment Apart. I don't know how y'all feel about EDM, but this guy like nails it. He's one of the first artists that I got into with EDM, and man, like he's one of the few artists that can still, when I listen to his music, I'm taken to another place. You know, like he sets such a mood and an ambiance, and there's such detail to his music that you just can feel his appreciation for what he's doing, his love for his craft, and it just comes off so genuine, you know, which is, I don't know, man, it's kind of hard to find nowadays in music. So go give that album a listen. Yeah, that's the weekly recommendations. Let's move on to today's movie. I'm pretty stoked. I was perusing Netflix, just trying to figure out which movie I was going to choose. I felt pretty excited because I got to choose a movie today. And I ran across this movie called The Age of Shadows. Now, this movie honestly was a masterpiece, may I just say. It was like the Korean Inglorious Bastards. You know, you have your evil country just oppressing the smaller city, and you got resistance fighters just trying to fucking muscle their way across the finish line so that they can, you know, just basically overthrow this oppressing government. So in this case, Japan, it's set in the 1920s, and I guess that's when Japan was inhabiting Korea. According to this movie, guys, I am terrible with history. Please do not quote me on this. But according to this movie, that's what was going on. Maybe it's an alternate reality, or maybe I'm just super not educated. I don't have the energy to Google that. I don't. I'm sorry. Maybe you do. Anyway, so in this case, we got it's following the story of a gentleman named Lee Jung-chul, who was once a resistance fighter. Now he became a cop, and basically it follows his story where he is basically sucked into fighting back on the side of the resistance fighters while investigating these guys. So he befriends one of the leaders. His name is Kim Woo-jin, and it basically follows his Lee Jung-chul's internal struggle of like trying to decide whether he wants to put his neck on the line for these Korean resistance fighters, or just stay in his cushy life as a Japanese cop, you know? So it's what I liked about it was that you got to see his journey, kind of his old feelings for what the resistance was about, what it was trying to overthrow, and what the Japanese government, at least in this movie, really was about, how poorly and how insignificant the Koreans were treated. So he but at the same time, you really feel his struggle, because you're like, okay, do I throw my neck on the line for this tiny resistance little organization that may end up failing and for sure take me down with them, or do I just kick it? Do I just kick it Japanese style and just keep living my cushy police life? Sure, I may end up torturing a person or two, but I get a pretty sweet loft with nice furniture and potteries, and maybe like a nice plant that's exotic, I'm assuming, as is assigned to all Japanese cops. So there's that. Why am I going to miss out on my plant, on my nice plant? Anyways, so it seriously was a great movie. It was somewhat slow paced, honestly, but here's why I'm not mad at that. If some of you guys are not a fan of long movies, I honestly challenge you to reconsider, and here's why. They took their time really building the tension and really investing you emotionally to each one of these characters. So the first hour, right, you get brought in with a bang, right? This is my badass moment. It opens up on the resistance fighters. Basically, one of their leaders, his name was Kim Jong-ok, and basically what was happening was they were trying to get more funding for their army, and the Japanese police force had this information. So they basically raided this little exchange, and basically and you had Kim Jong-ok escaping from 50 Japanese soldiers, and Kim Jong-ok, very John Woo style, just owned 20 of these cops, and really you got to see some dope gun fu here. And you had Lee Jung-chul, who of course was Korean. He was trying to make sure he was trying to take control of the Japanese cops. Hey, motherfuckers, I'm a chief. Y'all need to listen to me. We need to take this guy alive. But these Japanese soldiers clearly weren't interested in listening to Lee Jung. So they basically were shooting to kill. And anyways, without giving too much of this movie, you got to see some crazy gun action. This is what sold me. This is what sucked me in. And then from then on out, this first hour, you got to know Lee Jung-chul. You got to see him investigate and start to get sucked into the resistant fighters. They become privy to the knowledge that Lee Jung-chul is working for the police, and they're like, man, we gotta try and make it to where we can get him to work for us, and make him see the good in what we're doing. And reluctantly, Lee Jung-chul gets sucked into it. And then the second hour, when they're on the train, basically and again, I'm not giving anything away with this, they're trying to get explosives from Shanghai into Seoul, Korea. Please excuse my poor pronunciation. And So they're trying to do it by train, and that's where you got this resistance fighter army who's trying to smuggle this. It's a real dope heist vibe going on here. And then we got the whole police force, including one of the villains. His name is Hashimoto. Now, the thing that this movie did such a good job at was making you really hate the villains. Hashimoto was supposedly Lee Jung-chul's partner in investigating the resistance army, but he is just a dick. And him and his men, who for sure suspect Lee Jung-chul of working with the resistance army, they are all on the train trying to find these resistance fighters. So you just get some real Quentin Tarantino tension up in that piece, man. And that is where the whole movie unfolds. And it's one of those where, you know, the underdog, it just, oh man, I thought this ending was gonna suck. Let me just tell you that, no spoilers, you're just gonna hate it for the last like maybe 20 minutes. You're gonna be like, what the fuck is this movie? Are you dicking me? But please rest assured that just hang in there. This movie ends very, very well. So I'm going to give this movie my rating. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, guys. Highly recommend this movie. I highly recommend you sit down with someone who's a fan of 1920s vibe movies, actions, gunfu, gunplay, and just a fantastic character development, because that's what these guys did. So let's see here. I'm going to go into our what the fuck moments. I got 2 of them today. The first what the fuck moment was the torture chamber after the train scene. That is where shit, it's just a lot of unexpected things in this movie, and there was definitely some goriness in this movie which you weren't expecting. Was not the vibe whatsoever. You know what I mean? I was sitting there comfortable, in a good mood. You gotta know you're going into some gore. You know what I mean? But I was not prepared for that shit. So I had to muscle my way through some of that. But anyway, there was a second what the fuck moment. Again, this does not spoil anything, but there was a scene where Hashimoto, the Lee Jung-chul's partner in the police who was investigating the resistance army, had this moment where he was just pissed like a motherfucker, and he just slapped the shit out of one of his subordinates for almost fucking something up. And the subordinate just sits there and takes it, but this man is slapping the shit out of him, like the kind of slaps that should turn your head from the brute force that these slaps are flying. And this man just takes it. But here's the thing. I saw the actor's face, and all I could think about was like, they must have talked before the scene, right? They must have been like, all right, man, I got to tell you something. I'm about to go Jared Leto, Heath Ledger status on your ass and really get into my character and maybe be kind of a dick to you. It's like, oh man, like what are you gonna do? He's like, well, basically I'm just gonna slap the shit out of you, and you just gotta sit there and take it because we're on camera, and it's gonna make the scene super epic. And don't get me wrong, it made that scene super epic. But if I was that actor, I would have been like, all right, motherfucker, you can slap the shit out of me, but after the cameras are off, and after you don't need to be looking pretty for the next scene, I get 5, motherfucker. I get 5 slaps on your ass. One of my favorite moments right there. So that's it. That's it for this pod, you guys. I miss my friends, but I hope you guys had fun listening to your boy, just by himself, and just me, crazily ranting about God knows what. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, HSTSC33. That's where I'm making a lot of the announcements. And for next week's pod, we'll be right back up on that stream. Hopefully, reviewing something super dope for you guys. Follow us on Facebook. You can look up Hidden Shadows of the Secret Chamber. And Nakonsy and Khan run that page. They put up awesome content, hilarious videos. And shoot us an email at hstsc33@gmail.com and let us know. Just talk to us. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your feedback, anything that you think we should add to the pod, and also anything that any movie that you guys want us to review. We are a kung fu martial arts review podcast, but we'll also check out a few other things that are not of the classic martial arts or kung fu genre. I mean, for sure, we go and watch Marvel movies and review them for you. So, other than that, check us out on Spotify, on Stitcher, pretty much any Android app. We're jumping on iTunes. I know people that you guys can download us on Safari. And that's it for this week, guys. Thanks so much for coming in. And we're Hidden Shadows of the Secret Chamber. My name is Alex. Good day. Goodbye.